So, there's a film out there stupid enough to compare its monster to the kings of slashers. Hello and welcome to another midnight showing. As always, I'm Kelly. Or am I? No, I am. And I just got out of the worst horror film I've seen all year. And that's almost an inaccurate statement. I saw Ouija last year. This is pretty bad, though. The movie is The Gallows. And if you even need a non-spoiler section on this one for me after my obvious messaging here, the answer is it gets an honest to God fuck it. God, I haven't given that rating out for a while. There was nothing redeemable about this film. There was one good thing that you could maybe, if this had been just a better film, just a better written, better everything. Just one thing I can think of. The rest of it is complete garbage, and it can go fuck itself in a back alley, because, god damn it, I'm tired of seeing this. Now, if you've been following the Facebook page, I did post a video that was done by Chris Stepman called The Problem with Horror Films Today. And this movie represents everything that he is talking about in that video. If you haven't seen it, I will put a link for my Facebook page in the annotation below. Not annotation, description. I'll have an annotation at the end of this video, but description below. But, by God, for those who want to stay for spoilers, warning, it's gonna get loud. So, let's start off by the one good thing that this film managed to do. And what was that? One good thing? It was its location. The abandoned school actually is kind of creepy. And had this been a better film, this actually might have been a scary setting. People forget that location is just as important as movie monster or situation. I mean, take Freddy Krueger, for example. Would he be anything without the rusted factory pipe scene that he could just sit there and grind his claws against to help build that atmosphere and get you terrified? Probably not. You can make arguments in the later movies when he didn't really use it as much, but I still say that it's just as iconic as this glove or my wonderful t-shirt. I drug this out of my collection of random things to help emphasize just how much I really do like the horror genre. Most of the time. I like it when it's good. And this location actually could have been good. But it is so horribly underutilized. And the main characters... Oh my god. Okay. One step at a time. One step at a time. But needless to say, there's going to be a lot of disemotion for this movie. Just so you know. Okay. Let's start off with the bad. The synopsis of this. There is not a script to this movie. There really isn't. 90% of this movie's script is yelling the main character's names while running back and forth. It's a found footage movie about a school that's doing a production called The Gallows. Now, back in 1993, they tried to do this production, and a kid died. He was literally hung on stage in their fake gallows after what is supposedly it's kind of fun to do with this claw. Supposedly a horror a horrific accident with their Gallows set. 20 years later, in 2013, they managed to petition the school board to allow them to do the play again. First problem with this movie. What school board high on acid and sniffing coke would allow them to do a play that a kid died in? What? Okay. I admit that's a kind of a minor thing because we wouldn't have a movie if they didn't allow it. But I'm still calling bullshit on that. That's fucked up. I mean, okay. I live in St. George, Utah. And this kind of thing actually did happen down here at Desert Hills can't remember how many years ago. But yes, they were doing production of, was it Seven Brides with Seven Brothers? I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But there's a point inside of it where they need to fire a gun. And they were using blanks. Gun misfired. And if you are too close to the barrel, when a blank goes off, it has all the force of a regular gun. And a kid ended up shooting himself in the head. It's not something I'm not trying to make fun of it or anything like that. I'm using it as an example why this movie is fucked up. Okay? Because no school board in their right mind would allow that to happen again. Do you know what happened after that incident? As far as play props and things that... restrictions everywhere. Nobody could... Just no. Just no. I can't believe that this movie even remotely exists by something this stupid in its opening segment of its plot. It's just unbelievable. If this doesn't end up the thumbnail, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to take a picture of this just so you can get the idea of just how bad this is. Okay, moving on. So after miraculously getting the rights to this play again, we follow one of the biggest douchebags who jumped ship from the 70s and 80s. Seriously, football cliche, grease lightning without the jacket bad. Douchebag who's just... He's holding the camera. And literally, I own a better camcorder than this guy owns. And this is what they literally used to film the movie with. I will get into my discussion about the found footage crap in a second, but let's get on with the synopsis. So this douchebag, his girlfriend, his best friend who is the lead in the play, and the counterpart lead, the female lead in this play, end up getting trapped inside of the school at night for some pretty stupid ass shit. And they start getting haunted. Completely found footage, cheap, jump scare bullshit style haunted. And it's just, that premise alone has nothing in it that would actually lead to good storytelling, that would lead to engaging scenarios. As I said, the location, the school is actually legitimately creepy. If it had been like an abandoned school or something like that, by all means, this could have worked. But no. Just no. So, as I said, the main character, the biggest douchebag, whose name I refuse to remember. I had to do this video, just to clarify. I was so angry when I walked out of that theater. I hadn't felt this bad since 50 Shades of Grey. I actually had to do this video the next day after work, and after taking like a few hours to like work myself up to it. And I had to even convince myself to put in props and shit, because this douchebag. Now, just to give you a clarification, if you watched my video about Unfriended, I said one of the biggest problems with that movie is that all 6 of the people involved, yes, I know it's technically 5, but they did call the other girl, and she was on there for about 5 minutes, but she's just about as douchebag as the other ones. That all those 6 of those people in that movie are unlikable, pieces of filth with no redeeming qualities whatsoever. You want them to die. There's no way else to say it. You hope that they die horrifically because they have no respect for the dead. They have no respect for the living. They treat each other like shit, and they somehow call themselves friends. Now, I'm not going to say anything more, but those 6 people, compared to this one douchebag in this movie, those people look like patron saints who help at the lost puppy farm and save the world, because inside of this one douchebag is every single bullying piece of filth cliche that you can imagine. So the movie opens up with him dicking off on his camera when he's supposed to be working on this play as a tech. He's only there because his friend is the lead, and because it's a required class. Okay. Now, I can understand that if he actually did anything. But no, you want to know what he does? He dicks off. He's sitting there with the camera, zooming in on girls, talking about how ugly they are, making fun of people as they're doing their best to try to get shit done. It's just, they're trying to work on a production, and he is being the most disruptive asshole ever. And the teacher even talks to him a couple of times before this shit happens. And it's not even a slap on the wrist. It's like, okay, you need to find yourself some respect, and you need to realize this is about more people than just you. So, I know you don't like to be here, but you have to at least do it for them. And just, if this had been, I'm sorry, Saxton would have kicked his ass out so fast and so hard that I guarantee you that his kids would have felt that boot up his ass. You don't act like this behind the production, especially when they start messing with shit like the fly rail. Even for a joke from the techie kid. So, yeah, he treats everyone around them like douchebags. He doesn't even treat his best friend like a friend inside of this. He's trying to peer pressure him into destroying the set because he's so bad at their lines that he's going to choke on stage and ruin the production anyway. So they might as well just ruin the set now. The play gets shut down and everyone's sad and happy. Oh my god, just no, just fucking no. Yeah, so douchebag is on the football team, dicks around with his camera so much, it's just fucking stupid. He throws the footballs at the tech people as they're walking by and beats them in the head. He tears open their clothes. He literally breaks into the school and messes with these guys' clothes and starts cutting holes in them to show the boob window. It's so funny. Fucking piece of shit. And his girlfriend's no better. She's the typical cheerleader bitch. There's no other way to say that. She's the bitch. And just, the only redeemable character in this is his best friend who's in the production, who is the lead, who's actually trying to give a damn. Not just because he's doing it for a few reasons. A, he's trying to prove his dad wrong. That quitting the football team actually meant something. That he's seeing something through, and that his dad is a flying piece of shit. But he's also doing it because the female lead he has a crush on her, and she asked him to do this, and he wants to impress her. He wants to actually do something nice for her, which, yeah, I can get completely behind that, and he is 100% likable, redeemable, and everything, except for when he gives in to douchebag's idea, and they break in later that night. The cheerleader, the douchebag, and the pretty boy. They all break in using a door that's broken and can't lock. And once they get in there and start messing with stuff, they find the lead actress girl who's just there because they needed a fourth person. And they've got to... And they get locked in. And shit happens. Found footage, shaky cam, jump scare, shit happens. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, legitimate just jump scare bullshit that 90% of the jump scares in this movie are fake jump scares. Where there's one where I swear to God, Lazarus Effect I thought had the worst jump scare of all time with the stupid employee sneaking up on this girl wearing a pig mask just because. People don't act like that. They don't. But this one has one even worse. The guy sets the camera down on his bed before all shit breaks down, and literally we have a almost 2-minute shot of absolutely nothing. No sound, no nothing, just the guy's closet and whatnot. Okay, what is this? What do you think's gonna fucking happen? He jumps up into the frame. He's got his jacket over with the whole thing collapsed in. Loud jump scare noise bullshit. And there were actually people in my fucking theater who thought this was scary, and they were actually like, "Oh my gosh, that was." I heard them. They're sitting 3 rows behind me. No, it's not scary. At best, it's startling. The long-ass setup for this one, it's not even that. It's so fucking obvious that's exactly what they're going to do that they take any kind of suspense that could have created and completely shove it out the window. Just blow it out their ass because they want a cheap jump scare. So I should probably actually start talking about the other reason why I decided to wear the claw. Now, I mentioned it at the very beginning that, assuming that part doesn't get cut, that this movie promotion had the balls to compare the Hangman, who was the big monster villain of this movie, to Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger, by saying, Freddy has his glove, Jason has his machete, the Hangman has his noose. This guy doesn't even remotely measure up to the terror that these two iconic people create. Whether it be more for the comedy, the dark comedy especially, or just the unstoppable badass force. The Hangman is a fucking ghost, wearing his high school plays Hangman outfit. The hood, the burlap sack, and holding a noose that he doesn't actually use to his fullest content. He could have made this kind of work if it actually showed him throwing the noose and catching the people by the neck and pulling them away and sending them into the rafters. We don't get to see that. In fact, 90% of the time, his noose is completely invisible, and all you see is a person being pulled away with a loud jump scare noise with it. Completely off camera, by the way. You don't ever see anyone die on camera. Hell, there's not even a shred of blood in this movie. This movie is rated R. It is rated R. Because they said fuck twice. There's no reason this movie was rated R. Hell, you probably could have made this movie PG. Yeah, PG. I'm gonna lose my voice. You could have fucking made this movie PG. Because there's nothing in this movie that says R. One of the F-bombs is actually fucking legitimate. Tensions are high, shit is happening, people are getting choked and have mysterious rope burns appearing out of nowhere. They're arguing, and the main character, douchebag, says fuck you once. That's kind of legitimate for the situation. Tensions are high. You're locked in a place where the only light is your camera light and your phone, but they didn't think to use their phones because no one has a fucking flashlight app in 2013. I don't know what you're talking about. But the Hangman himself, his costume is dull. It looks like something a cosplayer at a really crappy ass convention put together. And I do mean that. It's just, you had the balls to compare that to this. He's got a fucking rope. Freddy Krueger doesn't just use this. He invents new ways of killing you. Sometimes involving this, sometimes not. Sometimes he'll just feed you another person and you'll explode. Sometimes he'll just pull up a chalkboard and scratch it and make your ears explode. This guy has one trick. That's it. That's all he does in this movie is chase him around with a rope, and you don't even see him 90% of the time. 90% of the time, you'll maybe see a shadow. And then you just see a guy get pulled off screen. Now, the found footage part of this. There is a point in time when found footage was new. Blair Witch, it was new and inventive. No one had actually seen filmmaking like this. It looked like a legitimate documentary. But it was still inevitably fake. It was maybe $60,000 and it made, what, $250 million or something like that? $250 million. That is a great... Okay, let's see what filmmakers can do inventively with this. Then Paranormal Activity just proved that, hey, guess what? They did that for $60,000. I can do it for 15 grand. Give me the money. I'll make this. I'll crappily edit it. And we'll just demand the audiences. Let's make the audience demand it for us. Because it's going to be so scary. And they proved that this method is nothing but cheap. With goddamn returns that go through the fucking sky. It's... Every single one of these movies are crap. Pieces of filth. Let me explain to you why it's so cheap. It's not just that you're only having to use one camera. Although this movie does use two in a admittedly clever way, but it didn't really add anything to the movie for me. It just proved more that I'd much rather see this with real fucking cameras. Hell, I could have given them my camera and it would have looked better. But this found footage is cheap because, A, to make the video look more like something that I would have made while shaking my camera, running away, or doing shit like that, they don't bother with lighting. This is what they do. Now it looks like a found footage movie. Focus. That's literally what they do. Is that they just turn off the lights and they just use the whatever that's going on. You have a exit sign over there, that's your light source. It never looks good. Never. Foregoing any form of lighting. Saves money. You just have to make sure that the place that you're filming at's okay, and you don't even need to do any setup. No real prop work's required because, well, let's face it, are they really building sets for these things? I think Gallows is the first time I've seen an actual set build, and the only thing that they built in there was an actual gallows. I could have built that on $200 of lumber. That's how cheap it is. $200 in lumber and maybe another $100 for all the rope they used in the movie, which they probably reused when they switched to different areas. Saves money. And then they go on to even the worst part about it. You want to know what would make it more realistic? Why get a script? Why get actual actors? We don't need any of that. We can just have the dialogue be, Rick! 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 Faye! Faye! Oh my god! Oh my god! Rick! Faye! Rick! Faye! That's all they say in the movie. Once the shit starts happening, that's everything they say. They occasionally point out something. Hey, what's that? Is that a way out? Let's try it. Doesn't work. And they go back to the Rick! Faye! Rick! Faye! I'm losing my voice. I'm losing my voice. It's cheap. It is cheap in every sense of the word. But, you want to know who this movie was marketed to? It wasn't marketed to me. It wasn't marketed to people with actual care for what they're watching. It's marketed to teeny boppers looking to take their high school girlfriends out and eventually get their first lay. So that they can get their jump scare and they'll hold them the entire night. Yes, baby. I'm your rock. And rather than make anything good, they just put out crap. And it makes so much more money. As much as I'm bitching about this, how bad this movie is, I guarantee you that it made its money back opening night. I guarantee you. That's how cheap this movie was. Everything that I saw on screen couldn't have cost them more than 10 grand. Now let's just say they had to put some budget together for the 4 people that are in this movie, or the 4 people that actually matter. Everybody else is just, I wouldn't even believe that they paid their extras $100 with how little time they actually spend on screen. So, small budget there. I guarantee you this movie was made for less than 100 grand. And that's including buying the script. What am I talking about? They didn't buy a script. But, yeah. Paying the director, paying the CGI artist, paying the 4 actors. Maybe 100 grand. That's all this movie is. Cheap piece of shit. Costume looks like crap. Your bad guy doesn't do anything. And even when the characters die, they die in very predictable ways. The best scene in this movie, bar none, is when bitchy teenage girl who's scared out of her mind is left alone. And she's just sitting inside of a hallway. It's got this really cool red light going off of it from the exit sign. And she's just sitting there crying. You're probably saying, hey, wait a minute, didn't I see that scene? Yeah, it was in the fucking trailer! In fact, it was the fucking trailer. Shot for shot. There's no difference. They just literally spliced the trailer, or cut that scene out and said, trailer, put Gallows at the end. I could have edited something better than that for a trailer. But no, that's literally the trailer. It's the best scene in the movie. It's the first time they actually utilize the atmosphere to its fullest extent. And admittedly, it's the first time they actually used the rope thing to a kind of clever yield. By showing that it's clearly not on her neck as she's examining her wounds via stupid little thing I'm looking at right here, where I can actually see what I'm doing. And because all the lights are out, she's examining it. There's clearly no rope on her neck. She pulls down and pulls it down, and all of a sudden there's one right there. And she gets pulled away. Again, the first time they actually did use this, the actual setting to its fullest advantage, and showed us just how subtle this guy is. And if the rest of the movie had been like that, it probably would have been okay. It wouldn't have been great, but it wouldn't have been the worst thing. It would have been fucking Ouija. It wouldn't have been Unfriended, which is just basically a found footage movie with a gimmick. You actually get to see what's going on. Problem is that it's not. It's not. All of the people, they're unredeemable douchebags. When the main character died, I almost stood up and started applauding. If not for the fact there was about 10 other people in my theater, and I was just like, no, I can't do that. I can't. Because he's just the most unlikable douchebag bastard you've ever seen in your life. There's nothing redeemable about him. His girlfriend is almost just as bad. The only person who actually has any redeeming qualities about it is the main character, who's legitimately torn between what he should do, the right thing, and his stupid dumbass friend that he should dump. Seriously. He's butt-fucking you more than he's probably doing to his girlfriend. And that's saying something. But, yeah, so basically everybody dies. And that's the end. That's the story. Oh, wait. Then there's the wonderful twist. This has a twist that even Shyamalan would laugh at. That's how bad it is. One of those twists that I could see someone saying, oh, that was clever. Until you think about it. Until you put it in context with everything else established in the movie. So, why is the Hangman actually after them? Is it because he's destroying the set and that after so many years they're finally making this play? No, he's actually after only one of them. The main character, the guy who's actually in the play, the pretty boy. He's the only one that this thing is after, even though it clearly attacks the other two multiple times, even killing them off before actually going after him. But the reason why it wants him is because he's the son of one of the actors from the original play, who was supposed to play the lead, his role. He was originally supposed to play the Hangman, but he called out sick. Because you can do that. Actually reminds me of a story that I went to my first year of high school. There's a kid in there named Jason Tips. He was a senior. And he's an awesome guy. He works down at the mall. I see him every now and then. He comes into KFC. He's great. The night, I believe it was opening. No, it wasn't opening. It was the third show. It was the third show. That night, while we're all sitting up to do Thoroughly Modern Millie, him being the leading male, we find out there was an accident. Long story short, he had cut his arm straight down. No, it's not what you're thinking. It was completely an accident. His hand literally went through the window. Big old gash. He had stitches, he had a cast, he had the whole shebang. He showed up for the play and gave one of the better performances I'd seen, even from all the tech rehearsals and everything. Yeah, he was drugged out on pain medication. He was popping down Gatorades and Powerades like there was nothing. And it was one of the best shows. It's one of my favorite high school memories. It really is. And this douchebag called out sick in this movie. This movie was not made by people who understand how film or theater work at all. But yeah, so going back to the actual ghost, I know that was a tangent, but it helps emphasize just why how much this pisses me off. That someone could get this so goddamn motherfucking wrong. But it's after Pretty Boy because he is the son of the person who called out. Yes, his dad, who the one scene you see him in, he's like bitching his son out because he didn't go do football instead of pansy ass as theater, because that theater is buddies. It's not like football. You're gonna go places with football. Ugh. Stupid sports cliche. High School Musical did this better. But so it's after him, and what could have been a really good ending. They finally get to the they get to the door. It's finally open, and all you have to do is cross the stage. So he's got lead girl in tow. The other two are dead, hanging in the rafters, and they just run towards the door. They run, and he makes it out the door before realizing the girl's not there. He goes, but he actually is legitimately torn. Does he run out, go get help, or does he run back in? He runs back in. Again, he's the only redeemable character about this whole movie, mind you. He actually legitimately runs back in. And the girl is choking on stage. Now, if she actually had been choking on stage, this could have been a good ending. But she wasn't. So he goes to try to do it. He ends up she's on the ground. He's kneeling down trying to help her up when a spotlight booms onto them. And he realizes he's standing in position. They're both in their positions for the end of the play, where the guy gives himself up and lets himself be hung. And they recite the lines. Okay, this monster actually has a method. There's actually a goal here. He not only wants to see the end of the play, but he wants his revenge. Okay, I can kind of get behind this idea. And they do it. The kid walks up and puts the noose around his neck and holds his arms back, ready to do it. Now, if the other girl had just... This is how it should have ended. The girl basically just says, I know it wasn't... I know that we never actually got a chance to, but I would have really liked to go out with you. So would have I. Now go. And have her run off stage, out the door to freedom. Hangman appears right in front of him. Reaches over, pulls it, hung. Pulls off the hood, and dissipates into the wind. That's how this should have ended. It would have been decent. It would have made It would have made the rest of the movie bearable. This movie ends. Turns out the girl was in on it the entire time, working incognito with her mom, who was the girlfriend of the kid who died and became the Hangman. To recreate this, get his revenge, and kill people. She starts just playing the entire role while he's screaming there, telling her to just go. Just stop acting, go! And he gets hung. Hangman walks down, grabs the girl, and they do their curtain call. Then you hear a round of applause from the crazy woman who had one scene in this movie. What a twist! The next scene is a bunch of police officers breaking into their house to arrest not just the mother but the girl. And they're inside of a shrine next to a TV playing the recorded footage of the kid dying in 1993 while the mother is brushing the girl's hair with the zombie-fied evil makeup. You know what I'm talking about. Heavy eyeshadow, slightly paled skin, with a look. You've seen it so many goddamn times. It's just so cliche and stupid. And the police get hung by the hangman, and you get one last jump scare before the credits roll. How many ways can I drive trucks through this? Well, let me just take it like this. If she was in on it the entire fucking time, why is she legitimately scared when the other people are getting hurt or even die around her? If it was some awestruck plan, why didn't she just keep herself hidden? Was it to prevent the set from being destroyed? Because it's fixed within 2 seconds of all the 5 things that they did to it. Okay. If her mother was in on it, why wouldn't mother play a bigger role? Why didn't it show an actual person instead of just the hangman doing all this shit? Hell, what if she were the hangman in the actual costume and her mother didn't, and she didn't know her mother had done this? That could have worked. It could have. You'd have to explain some of the magic bullshit, but it could have. But no, it's the girl working in tandem to recreate the play. Oh, and speaking on that recreating the play bullshit, there's a really, really, really fucked up line going along my lines at the beginning of this video about the whole, this shit would never work in real life. And I do mean that. There's a scene where they're just inside of the classroom talking about all the ins and outs, saying the play will be ready for tomorrow and it debuts, and we have the programs, and I would like everyone to take a look at them. Yes, we were able to recreate the programs from 1993. What? Fucking what? Yeah, not only are they doing this play again, but they're actually just going over the fact that, yeah, someone died in that original play. Let's recreate it. Here's what the program looked in 1993. Respect for the dead. None of these characters, except for that main one, had anything redeeming about them. None of them. And this twist emphasized just how badly this chick is just as bad as the douchebag. It's a twist that was obviously just put there to try to make a sequel. To just put the stupid jump scare bullshit at the end. This movie has no reason to exist whatsoever. It doesn't even deserve to be categorized as horror. It's not scary. It's barely even startling. The effects are a joke. The found footage shaky cam crap gets old fast, especially when this movie was literally filmed on a $300 camcorder and an iPhone. And you expect me to buy all this? No. Just fucking no. I'm done. I am done losing my voice over this piece of shit. Final verdict, fuck it. Don't go see it. You see someone who's even considering seeing this, steal their wallet and say you can't have your money back until you decide to go see Inside Out, Mad Max Fury Road, Jurassic World, Tomorrowland, and Avengers. Then you'll actually understand what good movies look like. Hell, you want good horror movies? Go see It Follows. Go see Unfriended, for God's sakes. That was done a hell of a lot better than this. Just don't go see this piece of shit. I'm sorry if some people don't like when I swear. I don't care. You know what? Fuck it. It's over. Am I off my rocker? Did you see it? No. I refuse to say that. What's your favorite horror film? What's your favorite horror that came out of recent memory? The Babadook? It Follows? Leave your comments in the down below, and maybe we'll get some healthy discussion that'll actually further the minds of people who would actually give a shit about horror. And if you liked what you saw, as always, you can check out my channel up in this corner. I will have a subscribe button there as well. And if you want to see more videos without subscribing yet, I have a midnight showing playlist card right up inside of this corner that will take you to all the reviews that I have done. If you want to see the reviews that I've done most recently, I will have those linked right down here. And if you want to follow me on Facebook, I have my new Facebook page linked right here. So, as always, I'm Kelly, and I will see you all next time.